is worthy of a primetime slot, but is not on a primetime slot, is Chiefs Niners here. This is obviously a massive matchup for a lot of reasons. One being the fact that it is a Super Bowl rematch here that we have in the regular season. And it'll be a good barometer, right? I know the Chiefs are sitting here, they're undefeated, but it hasn't looked like they have played a really great brand of football. And the Niners, coming off of a couple of losses this year, they would love to turn this game into a win and really slingshot what they could be over the next month specifically. Matchup that matters here, Carmen. What do we got?
Uh, this is like the most general of general matchups, but it's Patrick Mahomes versus the 49ers. Given the history that Patrick Mahomes has against this team, not only in the Super Bowl, but in the regular season as well, he has never lost to the San Francisco 49ers. 79.0 PFF grade against the 49ers. 109 completions on 160 attempts versus the 49ers. 1,356 passing yards, 10 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Again, this is coming in the 4 games, including 2 Super Bowls. Patrick Mahomes knows what to do against the 49ers. He's very good against the 49ers. And then on top of Patrick Mahomes in particular, Steve Spagnuolo against the 49ers is very, very good. The Chiefs ranked 9th in EPA per play allowed against the run when they play the 49ers, and San Francisco runs 21 personnel at the highest clip in the league. That's 41% of the time, 41.7% of the time to be exact. So that is something that Steve Spagnuolo's defenses are very, very good at. And it's something that the 49ers do a whole lot. Also, there's the 49ers average just 21.7 points per game when playing the Chiefs. So because of Steve Spagnuolo and what he is able to do. So with the combination of Patrick Mahomes and Steve Spagnuolo against the 49ers in particular, it just skews the Chiefs' way, and it's not coincidence that Patrick Mahomes has never lost to this team. So that's kind of the matchup that matters. Can the 49ers break that streak?
Yeah, normally I don't really care about this player, this team versus this team statistics,
Right.
going back to 1960 or whatever. It's like, okay, well, that part I don't really care about, but I think there is merit to how Mahomes has played against the 49ers specifically because a lot of those core players are still there. You've had coordinator changes, but I think a lot of the philosophies are the same as well. So I do think how well Mahomes knows this 49ers defense is something that is worth noting. So I do certainly agree with you there. I think the Chiefs run game is a big deal, right? The Chiefs run game versus the Niners run defense. We've talked a couple of times here throughout the year. The Niners run defense is just not as good of a unit. I think we think that this is a feared defensive front. It's a good defensive front, but 55.1 run defense grade as a team that's 24th in the NFL. They're 20th in EPA per rush allowed. So they're allowing teams to move the ball pretty well against them on the ground. I think you saw in that Arizona Cardinals game, the big reason why the Cardinals were able to come back and win was because they were able to hand the ball off to James Conner as the game was going on and still get a lot of success, get those yards after contact, and get those first downs. When you look at the Chiefs on the other side of things, 41 carries in week 5, which remember they had a bye week last week. So this is the last game that we saw. 41 carries in week 5 was their most of the season. Despite not having Isaiah Pacheco, they're not afraid to hand the ball off to newcomer / old familiar face, however you want to say it. It's Kareem Hunt. They gave Kareem Hunt 27 carries in week 5. They had no reservations about giving this guy the football. Mm-hmm. So they're not going to be afraid to run the ball if the 49ers cannot defend it. And I think that's an important part of the Chiefs staying pretty balanced in this game. And then my plus factor in this one, I'll talk about Juju Smith-Schuster because he had 130 yards on, I believe it was 7 catches for the Kansas City Chiefs. So yeah, 7 catches on 8 targets. I mean, he was a massive part of their game plan, and he was part of what they went with to try to make up for Rashee Rice no longer being in the lineup. Now, to me, not only is Juju Smith-Schuster sort of a plus factor there to see if he could sort of replicate his success in week 5, but also, again, getting back to the trade deadline, if Juju Smith-Schuster or this passing attack overall cannot look up to par, do the Chiefs really start to get more aggressive for a player in the trading market. There were rumors that they were interested with Devontae Adams. There's been talk of them potentially a landing spot
Devontae shut
for.
that down on Kay Adams' show
Okay, so
this morning.
okay,
He said the
okay.
Chiefs were not on the list. They were not. That was never going to happen, which is very, very interesting.
For him specifically, or the Chiefs
Yeah.
weren't interested?
It was he was talking about his list.
Okay, so it was his list.
But it was his list that matched up with the Raiders.
Okay.
So it was like he presented a list to the GM in Las Vegas and said, these are the teams I want to go to. And then he was given like, all right, yeah, this is our list, or like this is where this matches up. And the Chiefs were not on that list.
Well, they never traded to because it's an in-division opponent, and that would make it just way worse. But I do think that they would still potentially be in for like a Mike Williams, maybe a DeAndre Hopkins, right? And so I think how the wide receivers play in this game, maybe specifically Juju Smith-Schuster, could go a long way into how much of buyers they might be at the deadline for a wide receiver. But he's a plus factor overall just because they need to move the ball on offense. What's your plus factor in this one?
My plus factor is Brock Purdy because he hasn't really had the opportunities against the Chiefs to really show who he is, and we know now that he's for real. It's not just because he has all these wonderful weapons and he has Kyle Shanahan as his offensive play caller. Brock Purdy is a good quarterback, and there are some really fun stats that prove that so far this season. He has an 88.2 PFF grade, which ranks second among quarterbacks. 10 or more yard throws. He's 52 of 83, 1,114 yards, which is 288 yards more than any other quarterback. 7 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Third and fourth down in particular, this is the fun one, 31 of 53, 347 yards, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions. Brock Purdy is not only a good quarterback, Brock Purdy has the clutch gene, and he is producing on third and fourth down. So not only is he continuing drives on third and fourth downs, he is actually scoring on third and fourth downs. That's incredible. That's an incredible rate. And I'm really, really happy for Brock Purdy because, again, there's been so much discourse about, is he actually a good quarterback or is he just the beneficiary of the team around him? And we've seen him without quite a few of his weapons. Obviously, Christian McCaffrey is missing from this offense, and Brock Purdy is still playing out of his mind. So now he gets to go up against the Chiefs. And in this rivalry, that's become a rivalry because of all of the success of both of these teams, who, is he going to, again, show up, elevate the 49ers? Can he break this streak that they're on? I think he is the single most important player to doing that. And it'll be really interesting to see. I'm really excited for Brock Purdy.
As a Brock Purdy skeptic for basically his entire time in the NFL, it brings me no joy to say that he is a legit MVP candidate. He really is. I mean, his numbers and his play this year have been fantastic. And in all seriousness, he is playing unbelievable. And it's at a way where yes, of course, he plays on a really good football team. Yes, he has a good offensive coordinator calling plays for him, but he is doing things this season where it's like, okay, it's also him. Like they're not just I was talking with Arif Hassan, who writes for the Y Left Substack, and Arif was like, it feels like 2015 Peyton Manning, where Manning's arm was a little shot. Because like, I don't think Brock Purdy has a great arm. There were 2 throws in particular last week where I watched Purdy get rid of it, and I was like, that's going to be picked off by 8 different people by the time it gets to the catch point. And it wasn't, and it just happened to get to the catch point right before the safety or the cornerback could even get there. And it's like, that was Manning. Manning's arm was in 2015. Manning's arm was not.
He has a sense for timing. He's got a sense.
The anticipation is unbelievable for him right now. And
I say all that, everything so well.
100%. And I say all that to give Brock Purdy all the credit that he deserves this season. This is the best he has looked, I think, in his NFL career. Maybe some of the numbers maybe aren't as good, but he is doing more like individually, and why I think that he is such a catalyst and somebody that you got to talk about for early MVP conversations, because he's been awesome.